This is thunder. The writing's on the wall. Is anybody listening? Because that's the question that needs to be answered. It's like when a wind blows, or when you're out on the desert or something, and the wind's blowing, and you smell a storm coming. And you know that it's coming, and there's no doubt about it, and you look off into the distance and you see the lightning striking, and you hear the crack of thunder, and you know that it's time to take cover, it's time to stay out of the arroyos, for flash floods are coming. And I'm just wondering if anybody is listening to the wind, is seeing the writing on the wall. Because visions have come to me, and feelings have come to me. And you can't help but wonder, why are people not paying attention? Why are people in this zombie-like sleepwalking mode? And I have talked to several people off and on again, through emails, through phone calls, people I consider friends, and also on this page and through YouTube and any means that I can get to talk to people and warn them about this storm that's coming. And it's here. It's here. And it's, a storm is chaotic, okay? And Mother Nature knows no mercy, no mercy. And the storm is a combination of things. Now, in order to get a perspective on this, you have to look at previous civilizations and the decline of previous civilizations. You have to do an in-depth look, which I have done. And you also have to look at prophecy. You have to see sign, like a tracker, like an Apache tracker. So that means taking note of everything, smelling the wind, looking at the sign, and feeling with that extrasensory perception. And Lozen, who was one of the greatest Apache warrior women of all time, and Geronimo and others, were tuned into this sense of they knew what was coming. It's a power. Nadage Hogate, it was called. And they asked Yusin for this power. And they could tell when their enemies were coming. And they could tell when a storm was brewing. And they could tell because they were tuned in. And so I'm saying that people have to get tuned in. There's not too many people that are tuned in to what's going down. And what's going down is everything in all areas of life. Now, you might think that the financial doesn't have anything to do with the spiritual, or that the financial doesn't have anything to do with the nature, the problems in nature. But let me tell you, it's all one. It's all one. It's all connected. One thing is connected to another. And the winds of change are in the air. The winds of change are in the air. This has to get through to you, because I don't know how long it will be. But when it comes, and it for sure is going to come by the signs that I see, It's not going to be a pretty picture, people. And I really want you to think about all the people that are in a hard way right now. Now let's look at the situation you have, and I'm just talking in the United States alone. What, 300 million people in the United States, and maybe 1,000 people at most, 1,000 people are controlling these 300 million people, and these 300 million people are suffering. A good deal of them are suffering. They're losing their jobs. They're struggling. They're living day to day. I talk to people every day. Oh, if it wasn't for my son, or if it wasn't for my daughter, or if it wasn't for my parents, I'd never make it. I might have to quit paying some bills. And you know, the financial thing affects everything. And if that goes down, people, and it looks like it's just being propped up on a sandy soil, and when that tide comes in, it's going to wash whatever is propping it up. It's going to wash it away. And you know what? It could happen like that. Or it could take a while. But it's the happening like that that is the prospect that is most daunting. And when that happens, it's going to be hellacious. It's going to be chaotic. It's going to be like you've never seen before. There won't be any food on the shelves. There won't be any water. There won't be any police protection. There won't be any refuge. The only refuge that there will be with people of like mind. And you will either fall down on one side or the other. There won't be any in between, okay? No Mr. in between. One side is going to have hearts, dark hearts. And the other side are going to be regular people that have good hearts that don't know what to do. Or they know what to do, but they can't do it. Now, why am I saying this? Because I just feel it. When you feel a storm coming, what do? Just stand around with your hands in your pockets and say, ah, yeah, there's a storm coming. I mean, you want to tell your fellow man. Now, when you look at civilizations, I want to get back to that. Civilizations fell because of several factors. And the factors were resources mostly, and war. Okay? Resources and war were the two big things. Depletion of resources. And you know, even on Easter Island, when that civilization fell, they were down to the last tree. They used to have beautiful forests there, and they chopped them all down, building these elaborate structures and actually transporting those huge tiki gods. A form of materialism. But when they were down to the last tree, what did they do? What do you think they did? They cut it down. And from then on in, it was history. That civilization fell. And we have other civilizations like the Anasazi. and civilizations around the world. And look at how quick Rome fell. Rome was a superpower. Does that remind you of anything? Respected by the whole world. It controlled the whole world. Excuse me. And it was gone overnight. Now, I don't have to get into the technical financial situation. Just let me just say one thing. It's dire. It's dire. And they keep propping it up. And they keep going to war. And it's about resources. Well, why are they fracking all over the place? They're fracking idiots, that's why. They want to blow up things, inject chemicals underneath the ground so the drill bits will go down easier. Of course, that causes earthquakes. Mother Earth is being attacked. Has been for quite some time. So we're looking at the, lack of resources, overpopulation. What is it, 7 billion people on the planet? 300 million in the United States. And so the thing is with the financial thing, just to make it real short, they no longer can extract what they need from the slaves. Okay, and when it gets to that point, the slaves are no longer an asset to them. They no longer can extract anything out of them. Because the slaves no longer have the energy, and the energy is in the form of money. And the money is being depleted, dried up. People can't afford to spend money. People can only afford to barely live, and they are, buying the bare minimum. And so when that happens, the banks lose, okay? Because it's a debtor society, and the money's not coming in anymore. And so that's why they keep printing $85 billion a month to support banks so they won't become insolvent. I say to hell with the banks. I say to hell with all this high-paid, highfalutin lifestyle while the rest of the people struggle and scratch to barely make it from day to day and have to worry from paycheck to paycheck. You can walk down the city street and see people, elderly people, laying mattresses out under lights near churches so they don't get attacked at night. The infrastructure of America is collapsing, and you know what? When civilizations collapsed in prior times, that civilization was isolated. It was isolated because the world wasn't like it is now, but now everything's connected. Everything is based on the currency of the dollar. The dollar is history. It just doesn't know it yet, but they know it. I'm tired of my brothers and sisters suffering. I'm tired of it. I'm tired of seeing families struggle. I'm tired of seeing families go through being distraught and losing their jobs and not being able to afford this and that. I mean, even basic services, health care, food. I feel like it's time to rise up. And the way you rise up is to quit. Quit supporting it. You just quit supporting it. I know that's rough. But guess what? If you don't quit, It'll quit on you. It will quit on you. They will quit on you. And if only 1,000 people are controlling 300 million, think about it. It's a no-brainer, okay? So change your thought processes and start thinking about, why are we in this situation now? You know it's going to break down. Be ready. I'm telling you, you have to be ready. You have to see that proverbial writing on the wall. You have to listen to the wind and hear what it's telling you, because it's an ill wind that's blowing. And so what does this mean? It means banding together. That's the main message I guess I'm trying to get out there, is that people got to band together like tribes, okay? And the tribe begins at home, bonding at home, okay? Realization, getting your act together, and taking action now. Not tomorrow, not next week. And also it means not only families band together, but it also means people band together. They bond together. They become one, because we're all one anyway. And the real people, the people that have hearts, have to connect with one another. And they have to quit sitting on the pot and thinking that things are going to work out somewhere down the line. I got news for you. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. So you have to use the internet or whatever means you have while it's still available, because that'll go down too. All it will take is one incident. One incident that either the government will cause or nature will cause. And we don't know. We don't know who's going to cause it, because there's so much psychological warfare going on. And another sign that's in the wind is when you look at these politicians and when you look at how they change their minds every 5 minutes. They say one thing and then they do another thing like the next day. They're for one thing one day and then the next day they're against it. They're going to do something one day and then the next day they're not going to do it. The economy's supposedly doing good one day and then whoosh, the next day it's like a budget crisis. What aren't they telling you? What aren't they telling you? They aren't telling you what you need to know for yourself, your own intuition, your own gut feelings. What does it feel like? What do you feel like is happening? Tune out the BS. Tune out the mainstream media. Tune out the wolves, the paid charlatans, the paid snitches. Tune all that stuff out and tune in to your brothers and sisters. It's time to get together. I mean all of us. And not just talk about it. Not just go to little meetings and this and that. And, oh yeah, we need to do that and we need to do this. And oh, I really want to do that. I have plenty of people say, oh, I really want to do that. Yeah, that's something that we need to do. We need to bond together. And yeah, it's coming and we need to get into the old ways and we need to do this and we need to do that. Talk, 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 talk. Action is what's needed. I know I'm being a little intense, maybe more than a little intense, but hey, yin yang, black white. Earlier today I was dressed in white. Now I'm dressed in black. So I'm in that mood, okay? I'm in the mood for speaking straight. And basically it's because I'm tired of seeing people suffer. I'm tired of it. And we're all in the same boat. We're all in the same boat. And what brings this about? What brings this urgency about? Well, we bought into something we shouldn't have. And I say we loosely because I feel like I never really bought into it. But I've seen plenty of people in family and everything else that have bought into the situation of like, oh yeah, the American dream, the white picket fence, let's get married, blah blah blah. Let's own this, let's own that, let's get a new car. Let's get this in the whole nature thing went right out the window a long time ago. The whole living next to nature, all of that stuff. I'm telling you, if there's no food on the shelves and there's no water and there's no electricity, guess what, people? You're not going to make it. Plain and simple. Well, maybe you don't care. I'm getting to that point, well. But I do care about others. I mean, maybe I care about others more than I do myself. It's time to form up, people. It's time to buck up. It's time to get courage. It's time to take action, think coherently. Because they don't care. Do you care? They don't. They don't care about you. You're just firewood for their fire of greed that goes nowhere. And it's funny because you wonder, where do these people think they're going to go? Oh, you know that they don't have anywhere to go when the proverbial crap hits the fan. You think they're going to be protected? They might try to go to their bunkers or wherever they think they're going to go. That ain't going to help them any. They're just insane with greed and thinking that they have everything covered, and they're finding that, they are finding out that things aren't quite working out as planned. Because there is the spirit of man that's strong, and the spirit of the cosmos, which is what we're all tuned into, or we should be. So I say, get your act together, start thinking, start planning, start networking with other people, start getting your family together. And if your family's not into this, if they think, oh, you're a doomsday, you're a conspiracy theorist, you're this, you're that, tell them to read a few books about how civilization fell. Tell them to look at history. And when this civilization goes, it's going to be the whole world, baby. It ain't going to be just like, and it's already starting, see? You can see it on the fringes out here, starting on the fringes. All these incidents. You're not blind. You can see it if you're aware, if you're not a zombie, if you're not in sleepwalk mode going through the motions. It's a different thing to go through the motions and realize you're going through the motions, but when you're going through the motions and you don't realize you're going through the motions, or you're just compartmentalizing, or you're just ignoring, because it's going to get better. Well, it's going to get worse before it gets better. It always gets worse before it gets better. It may get better. Great Spirit willing. I pray for that. I pray things get better. Just for my grandchildren and my children. But when I see the ice water running in the veins of leaders that aren't real leaders, not like Crazy Horse or Sitting Bull or Geronimo, people that had character, people that spoke straight, people that weren't psychotic, didn't know what they were doing. These people that are out there now that are so-called leaders, number one, leaders never lie to their people. They never lie to their people. The true warrior leader never lies to his people. If danger is afoot, he tells them. And they have a council, and they decide what they're going to do about it. And they take action. That's the old ways. Taking action. And so that's what you have to do right now. And mark my words, if you don't do it now, it might be too late down the road. I had to get this off my chest because I just see complacency everywhere. And they instill that in us. They instill complacency because they bait and switch. Or they do the smoke and mirrors thing. One minute everything's, oh yeah, everything's fine. And then the next minute it's like, oh, we're going to be attacked by terrorists and this is happening and blah, 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 and war. Let's spend more money on war. Remember what caused civilizations to fall. Warring with other people, resources, and trade. That's the final straw. If you have nothing to trade with other countries, or if there is nothing to trade, there's no bartering power, there's nothing to back it up, and money becomes worthless, it's back to square one. I trade you my gold, piece of gold here, or my work as a gardener for your work as a carpenter. That's what it should be. So people, I'm going to end this now. I felt like I needed to get it out. I just felt inspired because I feel like something's coming. And even if nothing is, which don't count on it, but it's better to be prepared, people, because, you know, it just is. So I'm going to leave it there for now. Check out my website, Spirit of Crazy Horse. A great leader, by the way. A truthful leader. Not a nutcase. A real spiritual person. Spirit of Crazy Horse is the name of my website. spiritofcrazyhorse.com. It's beneath this video. Go there, check out my bio. I talk a lot about this stuff in my book, Listen to the Wind, Speak from the Heart, and I've held it up before, and but you can go to Spirit of Crazy Horse and check it out. And there is a donation button there. I appreciate offerings, and I appreciate all of you people, and what I really appreciate is when you contact me with common sense ideas, or maybe, you know, some of you people out there get some kind of movement going that we can all participate in and we can all feel more comfortable for that storm that's approaching. Got to hit the high ground, people. Anyway, I love you all, bless you all, and just remember to do your ritual. Ask Great Spirit that this situation be as easy as possible, the transition, the emergence, like the Hopis say, the emergence, because it will happen. It's just a matter of like the details of the situation. So anyway, I'm out of here. Much love to you. Blessings to you. Until next time, this is Thunder saying later on.